Today on TNT Big Show, what is going to be so special about Metroid Prime 4? All today on TNT Big Show. Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Michelle Nantucket.
And this is Sean.
Welcome to TNT Big Show, and let's get right to the video. And ever since last year in March, when Xbox Era talked to someone anonymously, they wouldn't give their name or anything, they said they saw over 20 minutes of footage of Metroid Prime 4. Sometimes you just gotta say, yeah, right. But when someone put up a tweet on Twitter that gave out directions, they put up directional numbers and stuff, and when you put in those directional numbers, it went right to Retro Studios' location. Something's up. And according to the people who got to see Metroid Prime 4, it was going to be a game changer. It was going to innovate and change first-person shooters, first-person games, and action-adventure games in general. And they also said that Nintendo and Retro were going to hold a lot of this back until close to the release of the game. Fast forward almost a year later, another person who runs the Kiwi podcast or something like that, he puts out a tweet and a post on Blue Sky and Twitter, same thing. In his opinion, he said it's going to blow everything out of the water at the presentation. Now, I don't know about that, you know.
Yeah, that may be overdoing it a little.
Right. But he did go on to reiterate that he thinks it's going to blow people away. I can believe that. And that Retro and Nintendo have been holding so much of the game close to the chest, and that what you're going to see at the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, it's gonna blow your mind. So Sean and I are gonna try to figure out what is going to be so revolutionary and stuff about this game that people who have seen the game behind closed doors say that it will just blow your mind. So, and it's not just graphics and stuff like that. I think first, now I know it's been done in Mass Effect and stuff, but not to the extent I think it's going to be used in Metroid Prime 4. And that's every choice you make really going to matter in the story. And I think that it'll end up changing the game in the future. Because you got to remember, in Metroid Prime 4, they're going to do time travel. You know, people are like, we don't know that. Yeah, we do. Number one, Samus gets sent back to a kind of a prehistoric time. Number two, Tensuke Tanabe talked about time travel could be a big part of Metroid Prime 4. He said if we ever got to do it, this was back in 2015. So I think that some of the choices, gameplay choices, story choices that you make in one era will affect the other. And maybe you have to fix something if it goes wrong. So you may have to travel back or forward just to fix it. It'll be like an advanced version of like in regular Metroidvania games where you go to one area and you have to do something and go to the other area so you can advance. Only this will be a more innovative way to do that, you know. It'll deal with the story and changes to the gameplay. It'll be like The Messenger, only, you know, grander in scale. So that's one theory. I think another theory could have to do with how you can play the game as either Samus or Psylocke. Maybe you can swap characters on the fly and think about that, you know, like you're playing as Psylocke 1 minute, and then you switch over to Samus, and you go from the future to the past, you know, and that could really help make that stand out. Because people are like, we don't know if we're going to get to play as Psylocke. No, we don't, but there have been some hints that maybe you do, because in one piece of artwork, real early piece of Metroid Prime 4, back in 22 or 3, I think, that somebody from Retro had a piece of art where you weren't looking from Samus's point of view. You weren't. You were looking ahead and you saw her looking at you. Now, that could have just been for the art, or it could have been saying, hey, you may get to play as Psylocke in this game. Now that we know Psylocke is the villain in this game, that could be a signal like, hey, you're going to get to play as him to find out more about his character. Weather effects. We've touched on this earlier in earlier videos, but I just want to reiterate this, that maybe weather effects may have something to do with this, because some of the positions that Retro was hiring for, it was using a new engine that can run more advanced weather effects, like flooding and things like that. So I'm wondering if maybe that rumor about Nintendo having that haptic feedback in the joysticks, you know, I wonder if that's going to be in the game. The way you control and the way it feels and everything will change depending on the weather. You know, that would really blow people's minds away. And you may get to have different abilities and stuff depending on the weather. Some functions may work or not, you know. Those are things that I think that Prime 4 could do. Now, also, what I think is going to be special about the game. Now, this was posted way back in 21, that Retro was hiring people to produce moments and story and cinematics that would make people cry. So this may be the best story game Nintendo's ever done, or one of the best. They may be trying to make an innovative game that also has the story of a Xenoblade or a Fire Emblem game. You know, unlike, and I'm sorry to say this, but a lot of modern day Sony games where it's story first, gameplay second, they may want to balance the right amount of innovative, incredible gameplay with an incredible, innovative story. In other hirings, they even talked about how they wanted innovative uses of camera and dialogue and to play into gameplay and stuff. And I'm like, man, they are really swinging for the fences, or so it seems. And I do remember back in 2012, I think, or 11, when they were talking to Tensuke Kanabe again about Metroid Prime 4, would there be one? And he said, as of right now, the series is done. He said, but it would take a hell of an ideal for a hell of a game to get me to do a fourth one. So obviously there's a fourth one now. Now that him and Retro have apparently made up their differences because they weren't getting along there for a while. Now they're back together, working together. That also spells nothing but good news for the game. So I personally just cannot wait to see the trailer for this game.
Well, we've already seen.
Well, I mean the full trailer, not just a teaser. This one that's supposedly going to be at the Switch 2 Direct, which we might as well face it, it's going to. You'll get a release date, I think, of July. But I also think you will get to see some, not all, but some of the new innovative features and some of the story. Now, who are they going to get to play Samus, to voice Samus? I don't know. Maybe Jennifer Hale, because she did what little dialogue Samus had in Metroid Prime 1 and 2 and 3, and she did. So maybe they get her, maybe they get somebody else. The other thing is, will this do for Metroid what Breath of the Wild did for Zelda?
Yeah.
I hope so. It's never a guarantee, because you don't make up the mind what the public wants. Whether it's for better or worse. Metroid should be a hell of a lot bigger than what it is right now. But for some odd, weird reason, it's not. You know, even some of the clones of Metroid, like Dead Cells, sold 10 million units, but yet Metroid Dread can only sell over 3 million units, and that just makes no sense. You know, so here's hoping that Prime 4 can hit that at the right moment. Innovation, fun, story and everything that'll just drive people to the game. That outside of Mario Kart, because let's face it, that's going to be the big one. But this becomes the must-own game for the Switch 2 in those early months until Mario 3D comes out. So I really do hope you all get behind this game. Metroid Prime 4, which Retro hadn't been hiring for that game for the last 3 or 4 months. Now they got new openings, but these aren't for Prime 4. The fact is, I think the game is finished. It's done. And I think Retro now is just spit polishing that baby to perfection. Please, everybody, if this game really does turn out to be as good as what people who have seen the game and behind closed doors are saying it's going to be, then please support it. You say you want great video games and that the video game industry is in a tizzy. Well, number one, Monster Hunter Wilds is selling like hotcakes on Steam and everything. So, but here comes the Switch 2, and you're going to get games like Mario, Metroid, and all them. Support them. This is me, Michelle Lynn Tackett.
And this is Sean.
Have a great day. Thank you for staying to the end of the video and watching it. If you like all of our videos, don't you join our other social medias like TikTok, Discord, Reddit, Instagram, Thread, X, and our WordPress blog. You can also support us by joining Patreon for as little as $1 a month, where you will get exclusive content, uncut videos, behind the scenes, watch that trailer, Jack's Joke of the Week, and my sports input. If you join the $25 tier, I will send you an autographed copy of The Buzzies for free. If you love horror movies and independent content. We're a great place to come and visit because we love supporting other independent creators and stuff. When you support us, you're supporting people who do all of this by ourselves. Me, Michelle, I'm the editor, I'm the director of the videos, I'm the producer, Sean's the executive producer and content creator. So thank you everybody, and please look into supporting our Patreon as it really does help out. Just $1 a month. Thank you and have a wonderful day.